Hello Woong, this is the test for your SC430, the 6-speed version, that's 05 to 010. So again, we've used your existing harness, we've untaped everything, retaped it up, and obviously added in everything that needs to be added in, like your gearbox harness and so on. So first thing I'll do is we'll go through the whole harness and how it sits and where everything goes, same as the other video. So again, same procedure, you've got your 5 ECU plugs over there. You've got your patch, which interfaces with the 2 IS200 body plugs. Looking down in there, you've got your 3 body plugs in there that just plug straight in. And then obviously you've got your junctions that tuck away underneath at the back over there. Okay. We've also got the device to convert CAN data to MPX, because obviously the 6-speed ECUs use CAN data, not MPX. And therefore we've also got the OBD2 connector wired into here, because again, this uses CAN. The IS200 uses K-line communication, so it's only a single wire. So again, we can't use the OBD2 port that's actually inside the car because we don't have the correct connections for that. So we fitted a OBD2 connector inside here for you so you can interface and look at live data. Right, nice and easy. Coming from there, you've got that section coming up there, going to your first plastic bit that mounts to the actual engine over there. Coming out of there, you've got your oil control valve, and we'll go through the rest of the harness that goes down there in a minute. Coming out of this section over here, we've obviously got injector 1 and coil 1, because this is the left bank on this side. Coming along down here, you've got your second piece of plastic that obviously bolts down there and there on the actual engine itself. Coming out of the first section, you've got injector 3 and coil 3 and your VVT-i cam sensor over there. Coming down here, this branch out here, you've got obviously injector 5 and coil 5. And your noise suppressor filter, which goes on over there, so it should be on your engine over there to bolt onto. Coming further down, we've got the breakout over there, and that goes to obviously injector 7 and coil 7 over there. Then it bends down over here and it goes into your black piece of plastic that bolts onto the engine, so you'll see a bolt over there and you'll see a bolt over there. Now coming out of here, you've obviously got your sub harness, which you still have on your engine. So again, we just made a temporary solution so we can test, and that's going to plug into this plug over here. Coming down the bottom here, you've got your earth strap that bolts onto the engine there. You've got your gearbox harness that runs down over here, so we've got the reverse and we've got the speed sensor for the J160. You've also got your pedal connector, which runs all the way up there and over to your pedal. Okay. Then coming along the black piece of plastic over here, we've got your second earth strap that comes out here and again bolts down over there. Coming along here, and you'll see it's a breakout here, so this is obviously injector 8 and coil 8. Then there's a little bit further along, breaks out there for your ACIS and your injector 6 and coil 6. A little bit further along here, and it breaks out and goes to your VVT cam sensor over there, injector 4 and coil 4, so that all breaks out over there. A little bit more forward, and the last breakout is got injector 2 over there, coil 2 over there. You've got oil control valve over there. We've got coolant temp sensor over there, and then we've got the 6-pin throttle plug over there. Okay. Coming along here, then you've got your wire that goes off to your mass airflow sensor. All right. And coming down here, we've then got the plug for the alternator, your oxygen sensor over there, and then your oil level. Again, you'll have the front sump over here, so that just moves along and your oil sensor will plug in over there. And then one I did miss was obviously this oxygen sensor over here. So do make sure you refit that metal heat shield that bolts on here, because that needs to protect this connector over there from the exhaust. Okay, going around to the front now. So coming out of the front over here, we're coming down and it goes into the cam sensor over there. The harness goes and you have these little clipping points over here and there. Comes down into here, breaks out for the air con over there, and pushes down through there to your crank sensor and your oil pressure switch. Again, your oil pressure switch will be over here because you've got the SC, this is a LS, but your one is over there. Right. So now that we've gone through that, let's go through what we're going to test. It's going to be it's going to be identical to the other video. We're going to look at things like your ambient temperature, outside temperature, and make sure that works. The charge light, the oil pressure lights, and the check engine light on the dash. We're going to check the reverse by bridging the wire to make sure that is all okay. We're going to check the speedo by feeding a signal in to make sure the speed comes through on the dash. We're going to check the OBD2 machine and make sure that's communicating via our OBD2 port over there. We'll test the fuel pump via the OBD2 machine, make sure that's working okay. And then the AC clutch. So the AC in this case is controlled via the device. So the device has the pressure sensor in to make sure the AC doesn't activate when there's no pressure in the system. And you just have to press the button inside the dash and it'll activate it, and we will test that to show you how that works. All right. So once we've done that, then we'll start the engine up and then we'll test the drive-by-wire. So again, same thing, we're going to press the pedal and make it rev. The starter circuit, well, that's nice and simple. If the engine fires up, we know that works as it should. The ACIS, again, we're going to check that this valve closes down after the engine starts up, so make sure that is on. We're going to use the machine again to test the 2 oil control valves for the VVT-i on each bank. So again, same thing, it's going to retard the cam, so you'll hear the engine run very lumpy when it does that. We're going to go through the engine again and pull off all the injectors one by one, just to make sure every cylinder is firing as it should. We're going to check the dash to make sure the tacho signal is coming through. And lastly, we're going to make sure that the coolant temp is working as well. Okay, so as it's plug and play, again, same thing, you just plug everything in. So you're going to use your normal key on your key barrel like that. What I would say is your fuel pump is going to prime on this setup. That's not a standard Toyota thing. That's part of the remapping process and the device that's on there attached. So it will prime, but that's not a standard Toyota thing. So if anybody else is watching and you do have a 6-speed 3UZ, your pump shouldn't prime. This is something that we've changed ourselves. All right, so if I put the ignition on, you can hear the fuel pump firing away there. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to test the ambient temperature. And as we can see there, we're reading 12 degrees. So we know that works absolutely fine. Coming around to the front, we can now see that we've got our charge light, we've got our low oil pressure light, and we do have our check engine light. Now what I advise people to do with these particular ones is swap the check engine light out with an LED. The ECU is designed to work with an LED, not with an incandescent bulb. An incandescent bulb is what you have in the IS200, so do swap that out for an LED. Otherwise, the only side effect is you're going to have a dim check engine light. It's slightly dimmer than the other lights on the dash, as you can clearly see. Okay, right, so moving along, we're going to go to the reverse. So all we're going to basically do is literally bridge that over there. So if I just do that quickly. There you go. And you can hear the little buzz. Let me do it again. You can hear the buzz that it's in reverse, so we know that's all okay. Right, moving over to the speed sensor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to test the speed sensor, all 3 wires. So we know that pin 1 is 12 volts, pin 2 is ground, and pin 3 is the signal. Okay, so basically what we got here is we've got a little device which normally we use to correct tacho signals or speed signals. So we're going to use that now to do, and it can force feed a signal out. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide power and ground from the plug, and then we're going to put the yellow wire in to create the signal. That tests all 3 wires, make sure that they are working correctly. Okay, I'm just going to put into test mode quickly. Okay, so now we're in test mode. You see it's just a constant flashing on there. So as I put this in, you're going to see now the dash is reading a speed. Okay, so we know that works fine. We know the wiring all the way from the speed sensor all the way to the dash is working. So if it's not working on your side, do check the actual speed sensor itself just to make sure that that is working. But yeah, everything in the car should be absolutely fine. All right, moving along, we're obviously going to go to the OBD2 machine. Okay, and again, we can see all of the live data coming through. So we can see we're at 61 degrees, 62 degrees, 23 degrees intake air, 11 degrees ambient temperature, and you'll see on the clocks itself that we've actually got temperature reading already. Okay, so we know that that works just fine. So next up, we're going to test the fuel pump. Obviously we did hear it prime, so we kind of know it works, but I just want to show you that it's working via the ECU. Right, so as I turn it on, you can hear the fuel pump working. And then coming up here, you could actually hear the relay clicking. Okay, fantastic. And then last but not least, AC clutch. So because the AC system is now running through our device and not through the ECU, all you got to basically do is press the AC button. And hopefully you can hear the relay clicking. Fantastic. Right, so that's all of those done there. So what we're going to do is start it up. Again, it's going to be very loud. My voice tends to come through just fine, so I'm going to carry on talking as I'm doing it. But yeah, so we're going to fire it up. We're going to test the drive-by-wire. We're going to make sure the ACIS valve is obviously closing. We're going to test the oil control valves via the OBD machine. We're going to test each injector and coil. We're going to make sure we've got a tacho signal coming through on the dash, and we're going to make sure that we've got the coolant temp coming through there. Okay. Just to make you aware, when we come around, we will have the check engine light on, but I'll show you it's just the codes for the NOx sensors, because obviously we don't have your sub harness for the NOx sensors, so it's going to give us a circuit high for the 2 NOx sensors. So don't worry about that. That's perfectly normal, and I'll show you the codes at the end. So let's start up. So we're literally going to fire it up. Tacho signal coming through, so that's all good, and make sure the coolant temp is working, so that's all good. Okay, so as you can see, we did have a check engine light on, but we'll quickly go and check all the trouble codes. You'll obviously see that we've got no trouble codes for gearbox, etc. It's just for the 2 NOx sensors that are there. So you see NOx sensor 1, NOx sensor 2. So again, that's purely because we didn't have your underside harness, so we had to make up just to get the starter to work, and I don't have a under harness for a 6-speed with me at the moment. So again, that's there, but we've got no codes for gearbox, no codes for secondary lambdas, no codes for anything else like that. It's just those 2, and once you plug your sub harness in, those 2 will go away. All right, so that's it. And again, thanks you guys for watching. Obviously we're going to get this all boxed up and get it over to you so you can get your 2 cars finished. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, please let us know. We can go through it. You can leave a comment, message us at Phoenix Engine Management on Facebook. But yeah, let's get this all boxed up, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again later. Bye bye.